Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Another edition of Hello from the Other Side, a Sheffield Wednesday podcast from the Wednesday week. My name's Ash, as you all well know. Today, glad to be joined by Joe from Red All Over, a Barnsley FC podcast. So, Joe, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. We've at the time of recording just beat Wickham narrowly 1-0. They gave us a great game, but we managed to get across the line. So just steadily keeping pace and keeping ourselves in. We can see, just if we put us binoculars to his faces, we can just about see you, and we're quickly gaining on Plymouth. I'd like to think we are.
well, yeah. Like you said, just what time was 24 minutes past 5 on Saturday. We're recording this, so it's so I've caught Joe at a great time because he's all smiles, and why not? Because Barnsley are actually in pretty good form, and we had a quite good result last night actually, but points better than nothing. So yeah, obviously we're having a chat of the upcoming derby. Should we call it a derby? It's not a derby.
To us, it's a derby, mate.
Is it?
It's you, but to us, it is. Come on.
It's South Yorkshire Derby against Barnsley, obviously Tuesday night. Just over 4,500 Wednesdayites are going to make the trip, the short trip for most of us, to Oakwell. So, Joe, what's your thoughts? What are we going to expect? What can we expect, should we say, from Barnsley?
It's gonna be a tough one. Look, I like to be honest, and I'm not coming on here getting it up big and before game because that'll. I am going to get a bit of that.
Why not?
I'm sure many Wednesday fans will take the clips, screenshot them, and save them for Tuesday night at about 10:30, depending on result. But to be honest, Ash, we're brilliant at minute. We've had to scrape through today. I've been listening to it on Radio Chef, and it sounded like Wickham really give us an hard game today, but we managed to nick it late on 1-0. But yeah, we're just a tough side. We work as absolute backsides off. Work as a team. We press really well up front with James Norwood leading the line, and Devante Cole as well. And we're just across the whole pitch. And then we've got a set of midfielders that can hit it from anywhere. I mean, I think it's the equal amount, or maybe even beating the record now for the most goals Barnsley have scored outside of the box in a season already. The likes of Adam Phillips, Herbie Kane, Luca Connell, Nicky Cadden, they're all smacking it in from outside area. So even if you don't let us get into area, we've got a good chance of scoring. I don't know what's happening at the minute with Barnsley. We're on fire. Something's happened at Oakwell as well. I've been saying it for a few weeks now. We played Cambridge the other week, and if you've been to Oakwell I'm trying to think if we've played you in recent seasons, but last few years, but particularly even before pandemic, it's been so quiet. Like, atmosphere just used to be really good, and it's just gone a little bit. And then this season, it started really quiet again. And even though we were winning, like I think Michael Duff said in one of the games, we were beating Accrington 3-0 at home, and it were like a library. Like, he didn't say that, but he said it were quiet. You know what I mean? He said it. Even though we were beating Accrington, it were quiet. And I agreed with him. I thought, yeah, it was. But then against Cambridge the other week, something happened. Few fans started singing. We got a man sent off. It was backs against the wall. Everything had been going against us a little bit. Not had a penalty in a year in a league game. You know what I mean? It's like sort of siege mentality, and then suddenly atmosphere picked up in that Cambridge game. We went on to win that one, and since then, something special's happening at Barnsley. We thrashed Derby 4-1, brushed them aside, smashed Plymouth 3-0. Even though, to be fair, they did have a good first half, but smashed them. And yeah, we're just on an absolute upwards run and hitting peak at right time, basically. So this is going to be obviously a massive challenge, Barnsley Wednesday. But I'll be honest, no better time for us to be playing you just because we're just in we're on fire at the minute.
Well, bloody hell! I can't argue anything. I really want to. I'm just, you're wrong. We're going to come to Oakwell, all guns blazing. We're going to win 3-0, all that. But no, obviously. Don't take this personally, not personally, but anything. But don't keep that much an eye on Barnsley because you just got to concentrate on your own results.
Of course you have, yeah.
But yeah, it's not gone without notice that Barnsley are in some cracking form, just like ourselves. I mean, last night we're 23 unbeaten, which forgive me, some will get messages if this is wrong, but if we avoid defeat against Barnsley on Tuesday, that's all 23 teams that we've gone unbeaten against this season. So
we've beat them
in this run. In this run.
In this run. Oh, right. I see. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, the first game doesn't count.
I was waiting to get that one in as soon as I could. Actually, you gave me a good opportunity there. Now, I mean, eighth a season in it for you guys.
Yes.
Equivalent to eighth a season that you've gone undefeated. Which, you know what, fair play. You know, I know you all don't think we're massive rivals, but to us, you're as rivals. So, but you know, fair
Yeah,
play. I can't say no. You're on cracking form as well. And to be honest, that's just what makes this game even more special. As I'm almost happy that you guys are in good nick as well, because if we do beat you, it's going to be a massive achievement for Barnsley and a massive thing for us. This is going to be two sides, blood and thunder, going at each other. South Yorkshire Derby, atmosphere absolutely cracking. I just wish it were a Saturday game, to be honest. That's only downside, as it's going to be a Tuesday night when we've all been at work and probably a bit tired.
It is. That's it. It's games like, it's games like this that should be a Saturday 3 o'clock. It should be. I'm not a massive fan of midweek games, just full stop anyway. But a game like this, and just what it is to both sides as well. Like I said, Barnsley, you've still got a very good chance of automatic. I mean, we're well off anyway now. We've done it. Got to be positive. But for a Tuesday night, like you say, it's going to be a good crowd. I believe you're not far off yourself selling out.
Yeah, not far. Main stand's gone in terms of seats. No seats left where we are sitting, and we're all crazy bunch. All rowdy lot, as we like to call them at Ponty. West stand, East stand, there's a few seats left. So hopefully, I'm hoping Barnsley fans, we can convince a few more to get tickets, and it might end up being a sellout. But I think we're still a little bit off that. But considering the recent years, like I said, an atmosphere that it's been, this is pretty impressive for us to get that many people in. So, and you'll be bringing a lot, won't you? 4,500, is it?
Yeah, just over 4,500, I think. So that's, and obviously, luckily, we are lucky. Our fans, we do take everywhere. We do take a great following. Virtually sell out nearly every. So 4,500. There's still people wanting tickets even now, saying, "I got any spares?" Or so because everyone wants to go. It's 20 minutes away, and it's like you say, it's going to be a great game. Is there any? Forgive me, obviously not kept. Is there any injury doubts for yourselves? Has everyone come out fresh from today? Just anything to give us a little bit of more of a, because last night we suffered. It looks like we've suffered a couple. So it's anything. I'm going to take any positives at the minute from.
It's getting to that time of season, isn't it? And it's one of them games where I'm not gonna tell any fibs here. Me and all Red All Over WhatsApp group last week, we're looking at watch it Wednesday game, and obviously, and then you don't want any player to get injured. Let me make that very clear. You don't want that, but obviously, it's like, oh, has someone got a little niggle? Will they maybe not be at top form? Sort of thing. And yeah, obviously, saw you had a couple of lads take a little knock. I think so. It's a miss. We're fine, as far as I'm aware. No, nothing from today. One of the biggest problems Barnsley's had this season, Ash, has been that we hadn't had much depth. So when we're early on in season, you could see there were talented players, but when if you were having an off day, you didn't have anybody to come on and really save that game for you. We lost like 1-0 to Morecambe, for example, early in season, and they were not coming off bench really to change it for you. Today, like we've just played Wickham and beat them 1-0, and the goal was assisted by Devante Cole, who's come off bench, then assisted by Luke Thomas, and then scored by Tedic, 3 substitutes. So you can see now Barnsley have just got that bit of squad depth that we could actually afford an injury, but at the minute we ain't got any, and obviously that's massive for us because we didn't have the biggest squad. So no, I'm afraid there's no little fruits of we might have a little nick or a little knock. No, they're all firing and fully fit at the minute.
And on the 180, I'm going to flip that right over. We've gone totally the opposite way. So we are perceived, and like I said, to have one of the best squads depth-wise in the league. And just in the last couple of weeks, we have started to suffer. We got a red card. Dom Iorfa missed yesterday from Portsmouth last week, and obviously George Byers was out. He missed yesterday, which for me, he's head and shoulders one of our best players. Really missed him last night. But like I said, the injuries, we've got long-term injuries, and Windass went off last night and apparently left the stadium in a little protective boot, which is never great. And Reece James, who's just come back from injury, he went off at half-time. I think that was a precaution. So we are struggling a little bit, and we are looking a bit light up top. But like you say,
you've still got an absolutely exceptional squad. I mean, part
No,
of me is like, I want to play the best Wednesday team because then you beat the best Wednesday team. But, it's one of them, isn't it? I guess, any advantage you can get at this stage of season. But yeah, it's with your squad, I still think it's going to be an absolute real challenge for Barnsley to win this game. But yeah, no doubt.
It is, no doubt. And I take the comments of obviously what it won't be, because I'm positive as anything, 23 games, what a scalp it would be for Barnsley to obviously to end that run. That, I mean, all the localness, the 3 points you obviously need as well for your promotion push. But like you say, yes, if we turn around and say we've got 5 first teamers out and X, Y, Z, this, which no doubt I will come out with because it's my team, and I'll get all the excuses under the sun.
Get them excuses in early.
Of course, I won't need them. They're going to be full. They're going to be still stuck in my pocket because I'm not going to get them out. It's for one. Me and my lad are going, and a few of the other guys off the podcast are all going. So
yeah,
we're really looking forward to it. I mean, I've been to Barnsley a couple of times. I think Windass on his debut scored a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was a good game. But I mean, I love it. For me, League One. I know we've got fans saying get us out of this tin pot league, which no doubt some of your fans will be saying that because you're used to Premier League football before us. So, I mean,
yeah, it's a difficult one.
I like the ground. I love going to grounds like Barnsley. I love it. It's great. It's better than going to all these soulless big.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I've enjoyed some of the away trips. Like Accrington this season's been really good. I've not been able to get to as many as I would have liked, but I've been to a few, and it is nice. Like, it is a bit of a better, maybe not better, but it's a different experience to go into some of the bigger grounds, and it has been fun. I think, but the bottom line is teams like particularly Wednesday don't want to be in League One. You guys are, too big for this league. If we're all being honest, I think. Barnsley were obviously a side that kind of yo-yos between Champ and League One, and our aim is always, can we just please establish ourselves in the Championship and stay there for a few seasons and maybe look to kick on. So, yeah, I think both sides obviously have a clear ambition to get out of this league as quick as possible. From a fan point of view, I have enjoyed it, though. It's been a good ride. I want the ride to come to an end. It's like when you've been on holiday and you've refreshed and you've enjoyed it, but you're just getting to the point now where actually I just want to stay me on. Well, yeah, I want to get back to the Championship now, please. Yeah. This holiday's been fun, but let's get out of here.
Exactly. I mean, for us, exactly the same. It's not obviously when the new owner took over and he had a 5-year plan, and we were, what was it, half an hour away from the Premier League against Hull. It was a great day, things like that, and then obviously we've fell down the pecking order a little bit. It's not where we want to be. It's not where any team really wants to be. Of course, they've got all got ambitions, but it's going to be at the minute it's a great season, and it will still be a great season, whatever. But obviously, coming this far now, this close. I mean, Barnsley on Tuesday is just another, and it is just another game, and it is for yourselves. So it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good game.
I think that. For you guys, I'll be honest. I don't see any scenario at the moment, and I may be wrong, but I don't see any scenario where Wednesday don't go up automatically. I think you are too good to not go up. You didn't have a particularly great day against us at the start of the season, but I think that's probably the best we've played for a long time, but we have become a lot better actually since then. Yeah. But that was one of our best performances of the season.
It has been. Around the Wednesday fans that obviously Barnsley this season have been the best team to come to Hillsborough.
I don't know. We're having some debate this morning with a few Wednesdayites who were saying it was Bolton last night, and I had to just remind them in comments that we didn't do too bad either.
For me, Bolton did come and play well, but I think we just didn't have a good game last night. Where when Barnsley came, we had no chance of having a good game. We thought Barnsley were that good, and which is obviously you're going to take into Tuesday night. I know it's a totally different. It's Tuesday night. It's at home. and you're actually in a hell of a lot better form than you were when you played us.
That's true.
At
Yeah,
Hillsborough.
we're a different team now, which
Yeah.
sounds weird to say, but if you looked at the games around that time, we weren't particularly necessarily anywhere near where we're at now in terms of progression as an overall side. We just turned up on that day and obviously just give it everything against you guys. But yeah, different team playing a lot better, generally speaking, in terms of general football. So yeah, it's gonna be a good on this. I think
We're talking it up well, aren't we? We're talking it up well.
I mean, what do you feel? Do you think that you're up, Ash? Because I do. As a taking my Barnsley hat off, who would love to give a bit of banter about. We're coming now. I think genuinely speaking, when I get my neutral head on, I do think you guys you're up.
There's talk around Hillsborough and Wednesday fans that we're going to Wednesday it up, which is this thing of we're going to basically fuck it up, which is really a negative. But I think over the history of things happening and not thing, it's always in the back of your mind. There is a lot of fans that are it's done dusted. We just need to turn up for the next 10 games or 11 games, which is it's dangerous. I believe we are up. I'm always the Mr. Grumpy and the negative of our podcast, so people listening will probably agree. But I do think so. I think we've done. You would hope we've done enough in especially the last 23 games of unbeaten, getting some good wins as well, grinding out somewhat. We've got 21 clean sheets this season, 15 of them in this 23 games. So. Yeah, I would like to think. I think it would be a monumental balls up if we didn't, and that is not easy to say. Or if that happens, that would be I
just don't see it.
It's. I think that's it. I'm not going to say any more on that because we're going to go up. We'd love to win the league as well. 1959, the last time we won a league trophy. So. That would be great, yeah. But obviously, the aim is top 2.
Yeah, well, we'll come back in a few weeks, and then we might be able to have debate over whether it's going to be Barnsley or Wednesday wins league. But for now, I'll not suggest that.
No, it's definitely going to be Wednesday. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's going to be. Well, I would say it's going to be tough. We're struggling with injuries. Would I, if hypothetically, if we had a full strength team, our first 11, I would believe we would be too strong, even in the good form you are in. But that's looking at people. That's looking at on paper, player against player, which obviously we've said Sheffield Wednesday have probably got the best squad in the league. Should be where we are if you go on paper. But it's football. That's why we love it, isn't it? Anything can happen.
Yeah,
it's.
I'll lay out my argument to why I think we might have a chance. Because firstly, it's no disrespect to you because you're obviously, clearly the best side in the league at the minute from your run and where you sit in the league. But I think that, as I've said, there's something special happening at Barnsley at the minute. There's some sort of momentum. There's something carrying us forward. We're on this amazing run. The atmosphere's returned. We feel like we just don't seem like we can be stopped at the minute. And I think that in 90 minutes, when it's not a massive emotional game, like it's just a 11 versus 11, and you guys would probably, I imagine, are very composed you have been in all the games I've seen. Yeah. I think that you probably win most sides most times in this league. I think there might be an emotional level for us. And again, similar to when we played you at your place, it means more to Barnsley to beat Wednesday. And I'll admit that. Like, you guys aren't, if you're playing Sheffield United, you guys want to win. If you're playing Barnsley, you want to win a little bit. Maybe if you're from Penistone or Stocksbridge, maybe a little bit more than if you're from the centre of, but you know what I mean? But you want to win, but you're not, I guess you're not as gutted, I imagine, necessarily, or maybe you are, but most Wednesday fans.
We would be. I think any, like last night, and any team in, obviously 23 games now, any team because I do believe we will lose. I'm not ignorant to the fact that it's a good run and there's still some tough teams to play. So I think it will be gutting, obviously losing that unbeaten streak, but it will be for me personally, be a little bit even more gutting if it was to happen Tuesday against Barnsley. So
there is still a little bit.
So there is a little, of course. And a lot of people will say that it's the South Yorkshire Derby. South Yorkshire's greatest county in the country, obviously. But it's going to be like that. And for Barnsley, who obviously you're a one club town, the nearest, isn't it? And I suppose it would be the same if you played Rotherham or Sheffield United as well. There's always that little bit. I don't know. You could tell me wrong if you don't like Wednesday more than United or Rotherham. If it's equal, you're not bothered, or is.
I think for us, generally speaking, I mean, it's interesting. I think it depends what age you are. So I hung out with a few older lads, Barnsley fans, and they said that back in the day, rivalry with Rotherham were quite big. Whereas I've always just seen Rotherham as like, sort of next door. I quite liked Rotherham, actually. I don't want them to beat us, obviously, but I'm not absolutely devastated if they beat us. Whereas I guess because we're sort of a medium-sized club, if you like, you guys been quite close geography-wise to Barnsley, and a lot of Wednesday fans either moving to Barnsley or been from, there's quite a few Wednesday fans from Barnsley. I think that adds the extra spice because it's, you work with people necessarily who might be from there. And then obviously Leeds generally from the other side as well, because you've got the Wakefield and West Yorkshire side. So for us, I think it's probably you and Leeds would be our sort of, if you pick two teams, who would you want to beat most? It'd be your two, I think, for us. Which I know for you it'll be Blades, but which is fair enough. But it's one of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it would always be Blades. It would.
I think, so I just think the emotional level. What I was going to say is the emotional level in the game might just give us the edge. But then again, if we get a red card early doors, because it's one of them. When it's blood and thunder and it's passionate South Yorkshire Derby, you know that there's going to be some challengers flying in. If one of them, goes too far, and it is if there is one where it's a bit naughty, you can see a red card coming out. Cause sometimes that does happen when you've got full atmosphere going and everything. So I think big thing for us is trying to keep us heads and not allow that to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's always that extra little niggle, isn't there, in these sort of games? But on that point, I don't know what it's been like at Oakwell or your games, but some of the officiating in League One that we've had at Hillsborough, I know we can always say we're biased because it's at Hillsborough, but some of it, and especially like Iorfa got 2 yellows last week, and it was never a red, like it was never a second yellow, never a first yellow, to be honest. But some of the officiating, I don't want that to spoil what could be a great game as well. So that's always in the back, officiating, you can always say that. But just on some of the decisions and some of the real poor decisions that even when you look back on live, but even when you look back over the highlights and you scrutinize it, it's like, I hope something like that doesn't, because it could end up just spoiling what could actually be a great game against two sides that are in brilliant form and have got everything to play for as well.
Yeah, we just need a ref who's going to use common sense and let it flow, I think, and let that game, and just to acknowledge it's a South Yorkshire Derby. Sometimes, obviously I'm not saying that they can let every single challenge go. If there's some naughty ones, they need to book players, but just allow for that little bit of extra physicality and acknowledge that, it's just because of the occasion, and as long as it's not dirty, and it should be, it should be fine. And like I said, not be blowing for every little niggly foul. Yeah, the officiating this season, I know it's an hard job, and I always like to acknowledge that just before I criticise referees. But yeah, I mean, we haven't had a league penalty in a year, and there's been some serious contenders for penalties. We haven't had a league penalty in a year, and I think we had 6 penalties in 7 games against us this season. So that, don't get me wrong, some of them were pens. I'm not saying that everyone weren't. We need to be more disciplined at box, but overall, you can look at them stats and think, well, it's not really balanced its Senat, has it, on penalties, particularly for us. It's been a little bit better recently. We've had a few better officials, so I'm not saying they're all terrible necessarily, but yeah, it's overall, I would say it's not been the greatest standards I've seen at this level.
Yeah. Right, so forgive me. I've got a couple of little stats because I'm a good stats man, obviously. I think. Go on. So forgive me. So home stats for yourselves. So you've won in the last 5. You've won all 5.
Yep,
I believe that's right. So, but over the season, you've played 17. You've won 12, and only lost 4 at home, which is pretty good. And for Sheffield Wednesday, on context of us, we're coming to Oakwell. In our last 5, we've won 4 and drawn 1. So it's not like you've got a team going somewhere that's got a fortress or who's not scored or won or anything. It's going to be two teams banging form, like we've said. It's going to be great. Me and Joe, everyone listening, we've bigged it up. It's going to be a massive South Yorkshire Derby. And so I'm going to ask Joe, come on, put your, I'm not going to say cock on the block or thing, but what's your prediction? What do you think? Sensible head on.
Anyway, it's hard at a minute because I'm going to sound like it's not a sensible head because I said before at Derby game we'd smash them. We beat them 4-1. I said before at Plymouth game we'd smash them and we smashed them. So people before games would have been going, Joe, you're talking out your backside. You know, you're playing these teams that are in and around you or above you, and you know. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the same as that. I think Wednesday next level above. Like Derby were here, Plymouth were there, and then you guys are up here. So I'm not thinking daft like we're going to win 3-0. I do think we're going to nick it. I'm tempted to go for a classic 3-2, like absolute each side gunning. Like if it goes where I think it's going to go, it'll be each side gunning for it, fans up for it, players up for it, gaffers up for it. You know, like I said, blood and thunder, goals. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see quality from both sides shining through, and I just think it's going to be a proper cracking game that hopefully, you know, both sides will remember. But I'm hoping Barnsley will remember it more fondly than Wednesday, and it'll be 3-2 Barnsley.
Well, I'm gonna go totally the opposite. I'm gonna think we've got a really good defensive record with it, and our back. Well, we've been playing 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, so 5 at the back have looked really solid. Dawson is, like I say, he's got a fair few clean sheets as well. So that back 5 is pretty good. So I am going to go. We're going to go for a 1-0. We've had a few 1-0, so I'm going to go Wednesday 1-0. Purely as well, just because a couple of injuries last night as well, which we don't know until obviously probably Monday morning. We are looking a bit light up top if Windass is out, and Gregory came off as well last night as well, so he could. So we've got just Smith at the minute, who's not in the greatest goal scoring form. So I'm going to go for a 1-0. Nick a 1-0 from outside the area. Will Volks. He's got a couple this season.
Go for Volks, yeah.
I'm going to go for Volks outside the box.
Can hit him, yeah, you can, yeah.
So I'm going to go for that. So that's my prediction. As usual, I am a betting man, and I have not won anything all season. So,
well, I predicted 1-0 against Wickham for Barnsley today, and that came off. But I don't get two in a row right very often, Ash. So I'm not gonna claim I'm some prediction expert.
Well, I hope that doesn't come. I hope it does continue, shall I say? Because if you've predicted Barnsley to win, so Joe, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having your time. I know straight after the game, so I've caught you in the best light. Hopefully, if I did this after Tuesday, after the thing, you would be as sick as a dog. So thanks for joining us. This has been a great chat, and up the Wednesday and 3 points on Tuesday. Cheers, Joe.
Thanks for having us on, Ash. Cheers, mate.
Balls.
Ghoulies.
Chaps.
Tackle.
Knackers.
Chaise long and armchairs.
Dangleberries. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level.
Cojones.
Pebbles.
Gonads.
Plums.
Family jewels. Brass clankers.
The 4th generation trimmer features our cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It's also waterproof and has a 4K LED spotlight if you need a more advanced shave.
Eggs.
Itchy and Scratchy. Mitchell Brothers.
Jewels.
Hanging Brain.
Twin bank robbers.
Chaps. Walnuts.
Gobstoppers.
Gooseberries.
Stabilizers.
The Manscaped 4.0 bundle. It reduces your risk of getting an ingrowing hair, it keeps them clean, it keeps them tidy, and it also increases your chance of fellatio by about 15%. That works out about 2% if you're married. So, you know. Anyway, enter the code TWW20 into the checkout. That's TWW20 into the checkout, and you can get yourself a 20% discount. Not too shabby, eh?
For our European listeners, Velata, Testicular,